Hello, everyone. How are you? Thank you so much for joining. My name is Carla Plasencia, and on behalf of the student world, I welcome you to this amazing live session that we have today with the Academy of Art University. I won't take much of your time. I just wanted to welcome you, to thank you so much for being here, and to explain to you very fast how this platform works. So we have the chat on the right side of your screens. I will be monitoring that chat during the session. So if you want to share with us where you're watching us from and things like that, so we can get to know you better, that will be totally awesome. And yeah, that's basically it. This is very simple, very straightforward. Now I'm going to introduce you to our amazing presenter for today. We have Sue here from the Academy of Art University. Welcome, Sue. Thank you so much for being here with us. We are very excited to hear all the amazing opportunities that the Academy has. So I'll leave them with you.
Thank you, Carla. It's good to be here. Good to be here with everyone. I'm going to try to tell you a little bit about the school, Academy of Art University, and what makes us different, why we're unique. See if I can get this to work here. So, first of all, I just want to say San Francisco is a beautiful, beautiful city to study art and design. It's a city that embraces art and design. Um, You can see the Golden Gate Bridge. I'm sure you've all heard about that. Um, Also, this we have cable cars, we have a lot of hills, we have a beautiful bay. Um, it's just spectacular. One of the prettiest cities in the United States. But besides the geographic beauty, we have some other things that are very important for you, and that is that as you can see here, the school is in the middle of all of these art and design school businesses. And what does that mean for you? Well, it means that you'll have the opportunity for internships. Your professors will be people who are actually coming from all these art and design studios who want to get to know you and want to get to know your work. So they might hire you in the future. And of course, that is your pathway to future employment. So the fact that we're in this intersection of art and design studios and companies is very, very important for you. Another thing that students ask me a lot about is our accreditation. Do you have accreditation? Who accredits you? Who proves you? We have regional accreditation, which is WASC. A lot of the big schools have that accreditation. We have NASAD, which is a National Association of Schools of Art and Design, and they take look at all of our classes online and on site, all our degree programs, and they've given us their approval. We also have a couple specialized accreditation. One is the Council for Interior Design accreditation, and the other is the National Architecture Accrediting Board. So if you're interested in either one of those, we not only have our more general accreditations, but we have very specific approvals. And then if you're interested in teaching, the California Commission on Teacher Credentialing has approved our classes. So you know where you're going to be, and you know that we've gotten approval from our peers and from the government. But now I want to show you some of the majors that you'll be taking. When students come to the academy, the amazing part of this is that they frequently don't know what they want to take. They've never been offered so many opportunities. We have 22 schools, as you can see, 122 accredited degrees and programs. We have 2-year programs, we have 4-year programs, we have Bachelor of Fine Arts, we have Bachelor of Arts, we have master's graduate degrees, MA, MFA, and then just for your information, an MFA, should you choose to do that, is a little longer, but it is the equivalent of a PhD in more academic subjects. So even if you want to come and just take a few classes and get a certificate, we have that available for you also. In other words, whatever you want to do in art and design, We have the major, we have the classes, we can help you. We also have 15 STEM degree programs. And what does that mean for you? That means if you take a STEM degree program and you graduate, you will have 3 years that you can work and get paid. So that's a wonderful opportunity. Many students find that very appealing because they want that on their resume. Now I'm going to show you some of our more popular majors with international students, just some student work. This is architecture. How do you know if you want to be in architecture? Well, if you like the idea of building buildings, and if you would like to also have the opportunity of creating communities, this would be the major for you. Fashion design. Fashion design is clothing, it's accessories. Um, if you want to work for a couture company, or you want to work for, I don't know, a major retail store, this is something that we train you for. We not only design the clothing, but we also do the prints. So you can see these textiles have been designed by the students for their particular clothing. We also have jewelry and metal arts. Sometimes at some schools, jewelry and metal arts are combined with fashion design, but we use it as a standalone. So if you like the idea of working in metals, if you like the idea of creating earrings, necklaces, um, or gates, you could do big things, gates for a community, gates for a villa, whatever. We can help you do that with jewelry and metal arts. Photography. Photography is taking beautiful pictures and using the technology to make those happen. Now, of course, the technology isn't going to come up with these ideas. That's something that comes out of your brain, comes out of you. But we want you to create images, not just pretty pictures, but images that tell a story, memorable images. And I think you can see the sugar. Probably none of us have seen it quite like that before. So I'm sure we'll remember it next time we have a cup of coffee and put some sugar in it. Advertising. Advertising is a very fast moving major. Um, it also is a major where you can sell something or you can make a point. In this case, this was an international student who was concerned about plastics in the ocean. So she took a uh, iceberg, the top of an iceberg, and then she showed what it could look like underneath the surface, all plastic. I think she did a good job of making a point. If you like to work on games, if you like to play games, if you'd like to create your own games, this is the major for you. We not only do the imagery, but we also can do the coding if you're that kind of person that you really don't care about, you want to just make it work. We have a whole, it's called GAP, it's programming. So anything you want to do in game development, we can offer. Also, the thing I'd like to bring up with you as well is we have esports. And what is esports? Well, if you're somebody that likes to play games, and you don't have to be in the game development program to do this, but if you're someone who likes to play games and you're good at it, come and join us and compete with other colleges. We have teams of students depending on the actual game where the challenges are, who are competing with other colleges around the world and in the United States. What is visual development? Visual development is taking characters and turning them into real people. Basically, as you can see, there are descriptions about where the person's come from, what she'd be wearing, why she's doing it. This is what you do in visual development. You're preparing for some kind of animation. It could be traditional, it could be more of a technical, like 3D animation. Also in visual development, you're creating atmospheres. As you can see, the one over on my left, I guess your left too, would be kind of foreboding, dark, eerie. Then we have 2 characters on the right, very different, and we could tell a story about them. I'm sure you all could make something up as to who Eleanor and Emily are and what they're thinking. Um, anyway, that's the story about visual development. However, if you wanna do animation and visual effects and you're thinking animation, long films, like what Pixar would do, we can provide you with all kinds of equipment to work on those features. Um, and in fact, we have Pixar come and teach classes. So you're learning from the best. Um, and you have lots of opportunity to work with other students in a studio we call Studio X. When students get into their upper division classes, they work with their colleagues, with their fellow students, and create films. But, and this is underscore, I'm making a point here. In order to do that, you still have to learn to draw. So if you come to us and you want to do animation, you're not just going to be on the computer. You're going to be learning how to do these things called storyboard. When you go to a studio, um, and you want to do a film, they're going to want to know what that looks like before they turn you loose on the computers, and that's where you need to be able to do storyboards. So we will teach you the basics so that you can do storyboards to get you in the door with your story. Industrial design is another very popular major. Industrial design is, I guess, like I would say, it's making the environment better for people. As you can see here, we've got some fancy buses, or it could be a tennis shoe, or this woman has jewels on her arm, and possibly that's how she's going to turn on the television. I don't know. But the idea is you're creating products that people will love and they'll enjoy, and I don't know, they'll be more comfortable. Now, however, maybe you just want to focus on something like a product like cars. Well, we can do that too. The director of the department, Tomatano, is a car designer. He's known all over the world. He was on the team that created the two-seater Miata, and he continues to be sought after. So if Tomatano gives you a recommendation, you work for Tom and you go to another place like Detroit or Los Angeles, you go to a design studio and Tom has said this person would be a good fit for you, guess what? I can almost guarantee you're going to get that job or that internship or whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. So again, this is just an example of what we do at the academy so that our students can get employed. Graphic design. Graphic designers are detail people, and I guess what I'd say about graphic design is it's the art of collecting and arranging images um, in small spaces, usually like labels, or you do logos. These are things that'll be on products for a very long time. And think about when you go to a market. You're looking at things and what draws you to them? Well, possibly it's the labels. You're attracted to the way that strawberry jam is depicted. So that's what the graphic designer does. It's using type and images to create something that is visually appealing. Illustration is one of our most popular majors. We have editorial, children's book, which obviously this would be a children's book cover possibly, and we also have comic book. And what is illustration? Well, illustration is taking you drawing with pens, pencils, ink. You have a client who's come to you with a problem. I have this script. I have this narrative. I need something that's going to attract my target audience, and then you create it. That's what the illustrator does, and if you like the idea, again, you will have to take a lot of drawing classes, but probably most of you would enjoy that anyway. Fine art painting, we all know what that is. That's where you go into somebody's house and you see framed pictures, or you go to a gallery and you see beautiful paintings or sculptures. Um, in this case, we're talking about painting, and these are all painted images that students did. Not they're not photographs. Um, so this is like if you're really into doing independent work, and you want to create images that speak to your personal aesthetic, this is the major for you. Here's fine art sculpture, which I mentioned. You can do regular figurative work or you can do more stylized work. This would be called stylized. Obviously, these aren't creatures that you would see walking down the street, but this is what the person wanted to show us. Um, so you can see how creative sculpture can be. Interior architecture and design. Interior architecture is taking the environment, especially the interior environment, and making it something that people want to be in, where people are comfortable. Again, here's that word comfort. So it could be on a rooftop restaurant, or it could be inside your home, or it could be a hotel. Interior architects work every place that people congregate and live. And I love this picture because this is such a great example of a smart interior architect who saw this stairway and thought, "Oh, that's just a great way to get from one floor to the other, but I can make it beautiful." And so that person put these images up on the wall, put the steps, lit the steps, put a beautiful carpet on there, stained the railings. Anyway, did all this work so this would enhance the room and not just be a functional part of the room. So, at the Academy of Art, we talk a lot about jobs. That's what you've been hearing me talk about since the beginning of this presentation. And what we do at the end of the year, every year, is we have a spring show. It's online and on site. Top industry representatives come and recruit students for their different companies. It's a wonderful experience. When this happens, it is only the students and the employers for the first day. After that, it's open to the public. But this is also done online. So if you can't come in person, your work will still be showcased. People ask me frequently, how are you ranked? Well, we have all kinds of rankings, but I'm just showing you the international rankings. As you can see, we've been ranked number one by different companies and different groups. We feel like for the kind of work we do, if you, again, and I have to emphasize this, if you want to work in art and design, that's important to you, and there's an area in which you really want to specialize, we're the place for you. If you're just doing this for fun, well, that's maybe we're not, because we're going to ask you to work really hard. My point is, whether it's that you're looking at accreditation or rankings, we have all these, what's the word I want? I guess we've been noticed. We've been critiqued by other places and companies, and we come out on top. So you don't have to worry about, am I really going to get what she says? You will. I guarantee it. You will end up with a professional portfolio that will make you competitive in the job market. Partnerships that we have with companies, these companies come into the classroom and they present problems and they ask the students to solve them. Those lead to networking opportunities that then lead to jobs. And again, these are some of the, just a few, handful of the companies that hire our students. So all of this happens with recipe for success happens because we have this award-winning faculty. And the faculty are outstanding professionals that have been reached success. For example, if you look here, there's Tomatano. He up there in that corner. He's the person that I was telling you about who was on the design team for the Miata. Next to him is Catherine Tate. She worked for Lucas and on the Star Wars films. Down at the bottom, you see Jana Memel in motion picture and television. She's got not 1, not 2, but 3 Academy Awards for her work. So the point is this: if you come to us, the directors of every department have what it took to be successful, and now they're passing that knowledge on to you. We know English is not your first language, and so we offer personalized language support, and you don't have to wait to start your education. We have a formula so that you can start taking classes while you're taking your EAP. We call it English for Art Purposes, while you're taking your EAP courses. We also have student clubs. We have them online and on site. So whether you're attending from home initially or you're on in person, you can be part of these clubs and get to know your fellow students. If you do decide to come on site, we have housing. We have beautiful housing. Actually, that building that you see to your right, with that bus in front of it, that building actually has a swimming pool in it, a heated swimming pool, which is unheard of in San Francisco. But that shuttle bus also takes students to and from classes, so they don't have to walk. I mean, you can walk. All these buildings are close to our classroom, but if you decide you wanna ride, or it's raining, or it's chilly, and or you got a big project that you don't wanna get messed up and have to carry, there you go. We'll pick you up and we'll bring you home. We also have meal plans, so you don't have to worry about cooking. You can go for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and eat with your fellow, students. One of the things that I like to bring up here is that our students can find places probably that they think, "Well, I wanna be more independent. I don't wanna live in a school-sponsored housing." That's fine, you can do that, but sometimes our students can get lonely if they don't have friends already in San Francisco. So this is a great way to start out. You have an opportunity of secure buildings, safe buildings. You have a shuttle bus that takes you back and forth to class. You're around students who are all attending the Art Academy of Art because they want to be uh, professional artists and designers from all over the world. So, what a better way to get to know people and to make new friends? I really recommend it, at least for the first year. Our tuition, if you're a full-time international student, um, for undergraduates, you're going to pay about $35,000. That includes your application fees, activity fees, insurance, materials, and supply fees. If you're a graduate student, it's going to be a little bit more, around 36,800. Again, that includes all your fees, including your health insurance. It does not include your housing. But I think when you hear if you think about everything I've said this morning, you will understand that you're getting a lot for your money. You're getting not only you're working with professionals where you're connecting and creating a network. There's that word network. You're networking with pros in the field while you're in school. So it's like every class is a job interview. This is something you won't find a lot of places that you might be looking at. So I think for the value that we're offering, for the chance to have a professional portfolio, to have a career services team that's going to help you find a job when you graduate, um, it's a good deal. It's a really good deal. So now I'm going to show you a video that is a student work, kind of everything I've been talking about, but maybe you'll enjoy it. I hope so. Carla, would you play the video, please? So that's a little bit about the images that I wanted to show you. You can see all that student work. None of that was done by the professionals. I mean, those students now are professional. We like to say, defy the ordinary and create the extraordinary. And boy, that nothing could be truer than those words. The one last image you saw where the person is putting the stars up in the sky, that the woman that did that piece is now, I mean, she won a major award from Pixar for her work. She was still a student. So it's really the sky's the limit. If you come to the Academy of Art University, you will have doors open for you that you only have dreamed about. And so now I want to show you another quick testimonials of students. We went to international students. We have a lot of international students at the school, and we asked them, what did you think about being here at the school? Did it meet your expectations? So I want you to hear what they had to say. Carla?
Programs that I could find, and this popped up, and I loved how many facilities this campus had.
Well, early on, I was able to work on actual project that normally you would not be able to work on until you finish school and you start working in the studio. I worked in an ad agency back home for 3 years. I was like, hey, I want an opportunity in America, and San Francisco is the creative hub, right? So I wanted to come here. It's a great opportunity for people with or without background to come here and be in the environment and learn from professionals.
You don't have to be perfect at it. You don't have to know anything about it, but you can learn it from it. I'm doing master's in UI UX design. Previously, I did my bachelor's in interior designing, and I had no experience for UI UX. This is like a new thing for me. I'm having really new experiences, and I can say all the experiences are positive.
The facilities and the professors at Academy of Art are some of the best I've had. You're working with people who've won Oscars, people who've worked years in the industry and know it in and out, and they're there to support you to get into whichever field you want.
All the teacher I had, I really enjoyed them. I received a really useful advice.
We love presenting our work that we worked so hard for the past 14 weeks. Every team member pulled through, and then we created this cohesive, holistic approach. It's also a great opportunity to see how like real work environment works, especially with different environments, different designers coming in from different departments.
It's an amazing way to get experience before you go to the world.
The Academy of Art's like a really good opportunity to meet new people and to create films and to go after your dreams living in a really cool city.
Everyone cares about us as students, and they are opening a lot of opportunities for us.
The Academy allows us to express our potential as artists, and they bring that out of us.
I love people here. I love that it's international place where you can find people from China, from America, from other countries, and you can have this mix of ideas.
My love for advertising is increasing since I've got here, and just the people I meet, different minds from different cultures, and you realize that you're a tiny part of the world, you know, and that's exciting. I am one of those person that looking for different things. Whenever I'm searching about the new things to try, I find out that oh my god, we do have that tool in the school, so it's really cool. If you look for the professional ideas in the design area, definitely it's a better place to go.
It's one of the best art universities here in America.
Typography, advertising, UX design, I will recommend any design students.
I would recommend the Academy to innovate, especially in my reviews. I don't think there's any other school out there in the world that really offer what Academy offers.
So there you have it from the students. Next slide, please. Yeah. So how do I get there? How do I take the next steps? Well, it's really simple. We don't want any of you to feel like it's just too hard. I got overwhelmed. I didn't apply because I couldn't figure it out. We don't want that to be the case. So we've provided a link for you. There's a phone number. If you call that phone number, someone will call you back, so you don't have to pay for the call. But also, if you go into our admissions, if you go to the website and you go to admissions, there is an international admissions group who are there just for you. They're specialists in international admissions, and they will make it very easy for you, I promise. And they'll answer your questions, even questions that we might not be able to answer today. as you go through the process, I'm sure new questions will come up. They can answer them, and if they can't answer them, they'll make sure they get the answers for you. So they're sort of like your own personal uh, travel agent or travel guide if you were taking a tour of another country. This is kind of a new community, and they're going to help you get established within it. So it's easy. I think you'll find what you're looking for. Like I said, if you want to work in art and design, we're the place for you. And you're gonna love it. I hear students tell me all the time, it just flies by. It went so fast. They thought at the beginning it was going to be years, and then it turned into feel like seconds. So come be a part of our community. We'd love to have you. We'd love to see what you can do and what you can bring to all of us. So with that, I will ask Carla to come back and join me, and we'll try to answer questions.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Sue, for all this information. And watching the second video, one thing that stood in my mind was the guy that was talking about advertising and publicity, and how much being in an international community of artists help him to expand his world and his mind and his ideas. And I think that in the creative industry is so important, so important. So yeah.
That's It's really true, Carla. It's a global world. I mean, we're
Yeah.
we're all connected to each other. Look at this webinar we're doing. I mean, people all over the world are participating, and that's the way it should be. As we get to know each other better, and when you come to the academy, one thing you're going to do is you're going to be exposed, and I think one of those students said, to other people's ideas, to other people aesthetics, and then all of a sudden you find that kind of creeping into your own work. And pretty
Yeah.
soon you have something that you would have never even imagined before. So I
That's
think
so
having
true.
an international community is very important. And we have, I would say, it's about 40% of our students are from other countries.
That's amazing. That's so amazing. And that's true. Like, let's take the best of this globalized world. And yeah, it's amazing. And it's going to be so important in your professional development
Hmm.
and also in your personal development,
Hmm.
for sure.
Hmm. And I'll just add one more thing. For some students who don't feel like they can come to San Francisco, or maybe they can't come right away, they can still get started. Our online programs, and we will have what's called hybrid programs also, where there are students in the classroom and also on Zoom. Um, their work is comparable. There is no change, no difference in the work. You can and actually learning how to use these different applications, how to download your files, how to work in different time zones, how to make sure that you're communicating well with your fellow classmates and your instructor. Learning all those basic skills is going to help you later on, because a lot of employers are looking at a global marketplace. They want a marketplace. They're going to try to get customers for all over the world, and then they also want to know that you know how to use these tools.
Yes.
So, if you have that down, you can say, "Hey, I did a lot of my degree online, and I know how to do what you're asking for." That's a real plus. So, whether or not you're on site or online, you're going to benefit.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. The virtual jobs are now so in since the pandemic started. I mean, even before, but since the pandemic started, it exploded because we
Mhm.
all needed to still be working, but we
Mhm.
couldn't be in the same place. So these skills that you develop from the online
Mhm.
learning, they are so important
Yep.
for today's virtual world.
That's exactly right.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to dig here in some of the questions. So, my first question, I know that you have talked about this during the whole session, but just to keep it clear for the students, do you offer internships?
We do, and we don't do it usually in the first or second year because you don't have the skills that you need to really go into a company and do well. We want your internship to lead to a possible employment. So we do offer internships in our junior senior year, and those you work closely with your department director, and that person will help you find the right internship.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, first you have to be oh my god, I'm thinking in Spanish, like feel confident about your skills
Mhm.
to then show the industry your skills. So that's very
Yeah,
important.
you want to make a good impression.
Exactly. Exactly. Awesome. I know that the students are watching this, they are all or mostly international. So English is not their first language, as you mentioned in the session. But what level of English do they need to attend to the academy?
Well, actually, you can almost be a true beginner and
That's
attend,
awesome.
but you have to take more levels of the EAP. So we will start you at the very beginning, and then we will take you step by step until you don't need the EAP anymore. Um, but yeah, there's don't worry about that. If your language skills, if you feel like they could be better, we'll test you when you come, or you can submit a Duolingo score, and then we'll decide how we can best support you.
That's amazing. That's very very attractive for the students because I know that sometimes we understand English but we don't feel that confident like speaking it, or we don't have a certain level, we're like a little bit short, or maybe they really want to join the program but they are not good at English at all. So this is a great opportunity for international students.
It really is, and we encourage students not to, I know when people come, they feel like, well, I'm not a great English speaker, but I really want to learn this. We understand. Like I said, almost half of our student body is international, and they come from all over the world. And sometimes people may do really well at conversational, but not so well in their writing, or there may be terminology that they don't understand, or maybe they aren't used to the kind of classroom we would have in the United States. So we're going to work with all those things so that a student can adjust, and pretty easy for them.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that's so true. That's so true. This is great. This is great for the students.
Mhm.
Um, can you tell us a little bit more about the housing? How does that work? How do they apply?
So if you come on site, it's up to you. We don't tell you you have to be in housing, but we encourage it. We have a housing department that's separate from the academic departments.
Okay,
And we have several buildings that are student housing. They all have different options and different locations. So you get to kind of pick and choose where you'd like to be. They will ask you to fill out a profile so that you can if you don't have a roommate, for example, but you're looking for a roommate, they'll try to put you with somebody who has similar interests. Like
that's awesome.
Carla, you and I, we might fill out the thing and you might say, well, I like to get up early and do my work. And I'd say, well, I like to work late at night. Well, they probably wouldn't put us together because I'd be bothering you and you'd be bothering me. So they're looking for people who have similar interests, similar study routines, and then they try to match people as best they can.
Oh, that's amazing. That's very useful. I remember when I had a roomie like long time ago, and yeah, those early mornings, I'm a late owl, so those early mornings I wanted to, oh my god, yeah, it was not fun.
It's true.
So that's amazing. And is there any maximum age to live on the residence?
Maximum or minimum?
Both.
Both. We want you to be 18 to live in the residence, and no, there is no maximum age. We would try to, we would try to talk to you about the fact that most of our students living in housing would be younger.
Yeah.
So, we'd probably be looking for somebody, if possible, who would be older, um, so that again, you'd have more in common. But we would let you know what you could expect ahead of time if you're older, and then you could decide what would work best for you.
Awesome. Perfect. Okay, now I want to ask you about something that I think is amazing. One of my favorite things of this, that is one of my favorite institutions. So what is the pre-college art experience?
Ah, the pre-college art. So if people are listening who are 18 or younger, they can take some free classes just to kind of try things out. In other words, you wouldn't buy a pair of shoes until you put them on to see how they fit. We want you to try out our classes. We have professionals teaching in the art experience. Um, and we want you to see what you like. And you can take different, you don't have to take one major. You could take one semester you might take animation, another semester you might take motion picture, another semester you might take painting. You could try different things that you're interested in to see how it works. And then if you do well, you complete those sessions, you can add that towards your credit count, not credit for college, but money credit count. So you get, I think I'm confusing people. So what happens is if I take 3 classes, then I would get credit, monetary credit, money credit, that I could put towards my first semester at the academy.
That's amazing. That's amazing. It's so cool. And I was looking at the website the other day, and you have lots of options that seem really cool. I wish I was younger.
Well, you could still do it, Carl. I mean, you could take a class if in something that you really would like, and who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, that would be so amazing. I'm definitely in for that. Another question that I know that the students are eager to know is if you offer any kind of or scholarships for international students.
We do, but they change from semester to semester. So again, you need to talk to your international admissions person, your international admissions specialist about what your options are, and they can tell you what's available.
Awesome. Perfect. So I will, guys, remember that while we are talking about this, I will send you some links on the chat that you might find useful to do some research. And you also have the contact information on the screen, so you can take a screenshot. And I'm also going to leave this in the chat before we wrap it up. Here, another question that I have is, can students work while studying?
Yes, is the answer. Not the first year. International student has to be on site for 1 year before they can work in the in the United States, in San Francisco, most likely. It's called CPT, concurrent practical training, which means if I'm a fashion design student, and I'm not ready to be a fashion designer, but I love working with clothes, and so I got an opportunity to work retail in one of the stores. Um, we have a continuing international student group. You would go to that group and say, I have this opportunity to work in retail. I'm a fashion design student. And they would say, okay, well, that's close. That we can see where there would be overlap. So we would sign you up for the CPT. That's what we call it, concurrent practical training. Most of our students, though, choose to wait until they graduate where they can do OPT, which is optional practical training. That's full-time, working 40 hours a week. And if you're in a STEM program, you can work for 3 years like that before
That's
it's
great.
part of your visa. So, yes, we can offer you what we call this curricular practical training, concurrent practical training. Um, but you also want to find out what the regulations are so that you still have the opportunity to do your optional practical training, your full-time after graduation practical training. I know that's complicated. I don't expect you guys to remember it, but I just want you to know that there are options, internships, work during the time you're in college, and then after. And we have these people who are there right now who can help you figure that out. So, yes to all of it, but you want to make sure you understand the regulations before you decide what you're doing.
Perfect. That's amazing. Awesome. Thank you so much, Sue,
Mhm.
for that information. Um, can you tell us a little bit more or about how the classes online are taken? Like, do they have to get online at a certain time? Do they do it at their own pace? How does that work?
It's not they don't do it at their own pace. They do it weekly, just like you were in the classroom. So, the online classes have the same learning outcomes as the on-site classes, the same syllabus, basically. So you're learning from people who may even be teaching that class on-site, online. They're teaching it online. So when you take the classes, you sign up, you start out the same time that the on-site people do, and you have the opportunity to I think this is great. Like if there's a demo the instructor does, it's videoed, it's videotaped, so you can watch it over and over and over. Where on site, if you're sitting in the classroom, it happens, you don't get to look at it again, it's done. So,
Yeah.
also, you always have the best seat in the house. The camera is positioned so that you get to see exactly if you're doing a still life, for example. Nobody's in front of you, nobody's moving, nobody gets you really can just focus and do the work. There are pros and cons to both. If you're on site, you have to arrange your schedule according to when the teacher's available. And when you're online, you don't have quite the same sense of being in the class with other students. So there are pros and cons, but you still get to you have discussion pages where you're supposed to be communicating about the assignments. The instructor also brings up discussion topics. So you do get to know your fellow students and you still collaborate. It's just you're working from home rather than in the classroom. The plus side is though you work at whenever is good for you. So again, back to our story, I am an early morning, you're a night owl. You wanna do your class at night, I wanna do it in the morning. Hey, it works for both of us. It's asynchronous. We can do it whenever it suits us. So, they're good classes. We have students, we put the work up at the spring show who are on-site and online, and you really can't tell the difference. The work is comparable. So, if you're out there and you think, "I can't afford to move to California, but I really love the idea of this school," start out online. You'll get the same content and you can make it work for your time zone. You can make it work for your lifestyle. If you have family or you have job, that's okay. You just work around those things that are most important to you. So it is a lot of work. I'm not gonna say that they're easier. They're not easier, but they are more convenient in a lot of ways.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Awesome. So interesting, these online classes that are taking over lately. And yeah, it has its pros and cons, and you just have to see what will suit best for you. But both are great options.
Well, we started doing online classes in 2000,
Wow.
23 years ago. So when the pandemic hit, it was no big deal for
You
us.
were already
We
ready.
had already offered all of our classes online, and our students did not fall behind. They
That's
were able to keep
amazing.
moving forward even though we weren't meeting in person. So, yeah, it's a great opportunity for and when we did it, we in 2000, that shows you I've been here a long time. But in 2000, when the president said, "I want I wanna do online," we started searching for online, uh, programs, platforms that would, best work for us. Couldn't find one. We didn't like what we saw. So we developed our own system. Nobody else in this whole world has our classes. And
That's awesome.
we're we've had people from all over the world ask if they could buy our classes. And we've said, no, this is our work, our instructors, our curriculum. Um, so yeah, so it's something you'll only find at the academy, but we're pretty proud of it.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And this is another reason why this institution is so great. Now getting a little bit into the application process and the visa process. Do you have any team that help with the visa application?
Our international admissions specialists will help with that. They can't go to the interview with you. They can tell
Yeah.
you kind of what to be prepared for, but we never know for sure. So you have to get your visa, your F1 visa in your country. Um, we can give you the I-20. We can tell you what your bank letter, you'll have to show a bank letter that says that I can afford to pay this much money a year. So if you decide to come on site, they'll say, okay, well, fine. You want to go to this school? It looks like you have everything in order. Sometimes they ask questions that the student isn't prepared for, but most of the time it goes pretty smoothly. And like I said, we have this team of international specialists who will help you get ready for that interview.
Awesome. That's great. Perfect. Okay. So I guess my last question here is, how do they start the application and what are the requirements?
If you're coming to the undergraduate school, you need to be able to show proof of high school graduation. If you have taken a TOEFL or some other language test, we'd like to see those scores as well. If it's a Duolingo, we'll accept that too. Um, if you're a graduate student, we're looking for the equivalent of a bachelor's degree.
Mhm.
And other than that, if you have a portfolio, we're happy to look at it and make sure you get in the classes. We don't want to waste your time. We don't want to have you take something that you already have taken. So we'll have to look at what you have. If there's anything that's transferable, any units, we'll transfer those in. We'll also look at your work, and maybe you didn't take a class, but you've shown that you have skills in a certain area. So we'll have you take a different course. Um, so it's only about having the basic either high school degree or college degree. And then if you have transferable units, getting that evaluated. And also if you have a portfolio, those are the things we want to look at most closely. If you have language scores, we'll look at that too. We want to make sure we're getting you in the right place in all the curriculum that we have. So it's mostly about placement.
Perfect. Perfect. That's great. And that seems very easy. Like it's the same that you would do if you wanted to study in your own country. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Sue, for all this information. Um, this is amazing. This school is just mind blowing. Guys, please check the website, get in touch with them. I'm sure that they will be super happy to help and to guide you throughout the process.
Mhm.
And congratulations, everyone, for taking this first step into your career. You are very brave, and this is amazing, and it's an amazing opportunity that I'm super sure that you won't regret. And Sue, if you want to say anything else to the students.
Yeah, I think I said this before, but I would say it again. Um, when most of us go to college, we feel like we want to get a good job when we get out. And if that's you and you feel like, boy, I just want to do some kind of art and design, that's what really works for me. We're the place for you. And we have a huge community. We've been doing this since 1929.
Wow.
And we have hundreds, thousands actually, students who have graduated, alumni all over the world that you can become a part of. This is a family. I mean, it's for artists to come together from all these different countries and start working on projects together. Boy, it's really, really special. San Francisco is a very diverse city. If you come there, you're going to love it. It's beautiful, lots to do. But mostly, the most important thing is you'll be with a group of students that are just like you, that you won't be on the outside looking in. You're going to be in your tribe, and I think you'll find your home there. So check us out. Don't pass us by. Really, really look at it because it could make a huge difference in your life.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sue. Thank you for all the information. Thank you for these words, because I feel like they are very encouraging, and I always leave these webinars feeling so encouraged and so happy and so ready to follow my passion. And I really hope that the students can feel this as well. And thank you everyone for being here today, for joining us, for sharing with us a little bit of your days, afternoons. For hearing us. And please don't hesitate to reach out if you need any assistance or if you have any questions. And thank you again, everyone. And I'll see you next time.
Thank you, Carla. Thank you, everybody.